Hi everyone, this is Spring, the fiber enthusiast. Welcome to a quick tutorial demonstration on how to darn a hole in your knitted sock or other fabrics that you may want to put a little patch on per se. So what I have here is my well-used socks that I knitted myself. This pair I happened to be wearing when I was working here on the farm and blew out my ACL and fractured my tibia. While working on the hillside, I ended up wearing a hole in the ball area of both feet. Not the heels, but here, because of all of the pressure of standing on an angle. So what we're going to do today is go over how to darn the hole, close it up with the darning disc. So what I have here is a kit that you can order. This is what I use, and I'm not the greatest at this, but I can give you the overall directions. All right, so let's go ahead and pull the stuff out of the kit that you get. And you have some rubber bands, a disc, which has this cut out all the way around. Some brief instructions. They're not like the greatest, but you do get some instructions. You can order these probably through Amazon or Etsy. You might be able to find some on Etsy and possibly even eBay. And they come in a range of sizes. This is a 14 hook size. So it's almost the smallest one you can get. But, yeah, so it kind of gives you some cheap instructions. And then you get a darning needle, and this here is a latch hook, which I really don't use it. I mean, I guess you could, but I don't use it. And then you have your plate with all your hooks. Just like that. So the first thing we're going to do is stand all of these up. And you can use your needle, you can use your fingers, however you'd like. But you want to just kind of like stand all of these hooks so that way they are in the upright position. And you do that just by standing these little loop things upright. And what this does is it makes it easier to hook your yarn if they're in the upright position. So you'll go through and you'll stand each and every one of those up. The next thing you want to do is you want to take your disc, and the sizes is depending on the size of the hole. This is just barely big enough for the area that I am covering. Okay, so we're going to want to slide that disc, and you can do this with a darning egg as well. I don't have one. You can also do this on the using a lid to like a jar. You can do that as well. It does not have to be this disc. It's just easier to do it if you have this disc and hook. So once you have your material with the hole over the top of the disc about even as to the area that you're going to be working, you're going to take your metal piece here with all the hooks on it, and there's a slot right here for you to slide over the top of that disc. So see how it's on the disc now, and the fabric is right here. The next thing you're going to want to do is, generally you get several rubber bands that come in the pack, which is nice because the very first time I ever used it, I broke one of the rubber bands. So it's nice that it comes with several. So the next thing you're going to want to do is place the rubber band over the top of where all your hooks are. And then you're going to pull the rubber band down. Let's see if I can get this to stay nicely here. It is a little tedious, but you're going to pull the rubber band down and you're going to place it in the groove on the other side of the disc from your hooks, and work that rubber band around the disc. And this might take you a couple of tries to get it situated just right. And what that does is hold your fabric in place, just like that. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is get you some yarn, something either close to the same weight or the exact same yarn if you have it left. I happen to not have any left, so I just grabbed some that I really am not greatly fond of. And you're going to want to lace up your darning needle. And now you're going to want a really long tail, because we're going to be going from down here to up here, all the way across. And then we're going to go this way. So we definitely need a good long tail, so that way we can accomplish all of it in one go. If you have to add more later, you can. So I'm going to go ahead and finish standing all of these up. Okay, so now you have all your hooks standing upright. Your fabric is held in place. Your needle is threaded. The first thing you're going to want to do is go 3 stitches below your hole and 3 stitches to either side. I will be starting on my right-hand side and working left. So I'm going to find the last decent stitch that is still intact and go 3 below. Okay, so I'm going to go right along this blue line according to what I've seen. And now I'm going to go 3 stitches out just to make sure that I have a good grip around this hole of good sutures, good stitches. So I am now 1, 2, and 3. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go under a thread. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for this little part here. So you're going to pick up one of your threads below your work, and you're going to pull that needle and thread all the way through. Then you're going to zoom back out just a hair. Then you're going to bring it straight up and wrap it around the hook that is straight up from your stitch. like that. So now I'm wrapped around the hook straight up from my stitch. Now I'm going to go to the next stitch over and pick up another stitch. And we're going to repeat the same process, pulling your tail thread all the way through. And they don't have to be super, super tight, just taut. And then reach up and go to the next hook and pull it down. Again, repeat the next process, pick up the next stitch, pull the tail thread through, and reach up and catch your next hook. And you continue that all the way across until you have reached the other side, 3 stitches out from your whole or last row of good stitches. Okay, so now we have them across all of our hooks here that are going to be used, the ones that are all in order. And the next thing we're going to do is turn our work. You're going to want to, again, pick up a stitch at the base of your project. And down here at this bottom row where we were sewing up, you're going to want to pick up a stitch from down here and pull your tail thread all the way through. Okay. And the next thing that you need to do is slide all of these levers away from you. Then you're going to take your darning needle, and sometimes it's easier with the pointed end, and sometimes I just turn it around. Now this is where some may use the latch hook. I just find it easier just to continue using my needle. So I just turn it around so that way the eye of the needle is going through. And you go under each and every thread. And let's see. We'll zoom in for a little bit here. Each and every thread all the way across. Just like that. And then pull that tail thread all the way through. Okay, so once you have your thread through and pushed down into place, like such, the next thing you're going to do is flip these levers all the way back to the left. And what that does is it raises up the opposite side of the thread. When we come across from left to right, this side was raised. Now by turning all them levers that direction, we now raise this side. So now we need to pick up a stitch on this side down here at the base of the work, just like we did the other one. pull your tail thread through. And now we're going to weave back through all of these threads the opposite direction. So you're anchoring on each side of your project. We started with anchoring down here and hooking back and forth, and now we're anchoring on each side as we make our passes through. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this needle in here and push that down. And flip all those levers back over. And zoom back out so you can see more of what's going on. Okay. So again, we're going to anchor down on this side of our work by catching the stitch to the side and weave back through. Okay. So now we are need to pick up the other one. There we go. I didn't pick up the first one. There we go. Now we got it. And that you definitely need to make sure when you're weaving back and forth that you're catching each and every one of them threads in the right position, whether it be up or down. I'm going to go ahead and stick my needle back in there and squish all them back down. And you can use that tool, that other tool that is sent with it if you want. I just prefer not to. Okay, so again, we're going to pick up a stitch on the side here. Pull your tail thread through. Flip all these levers back the other direction. And weave your tail thread through the opposite direction. Just like that. Pull your tail thread through. Okay. Let's anchor this stitch over here on the side. And you'll just continue doing this until you have no more room to weave back and forth. So continue on. I'm going to do the rest of this off camera, working up the disc towards my hooks. When I get close to the hooks, I will come back. Okay, so I'm coming up to basically the last stitch that I'm going to be able to weave through here. And then we'll take this off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and anchor this one down, and then we'll take this off and I'll show you how to finish. Okay. So the next thing, just like when we went on, we got to come off. It's easier to take these off if you have your hooks in the upright position. So go ahead and pick those hooks up. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at this. I don't claim to be. So I have all of my hooks in the upright position. The next thing is we're going to take the rubber band off. Go ahead and slide your disc and metal piece apart. And now with all of the hooks in the upright position, all you have to do is rock it forward and slide it off. So now we're done with this piece and we're done with the disc. So you can take your disc out. Just be careful. You still have some open stitches there we need to use. So slide your disc out and you can now set that all aside and stick your hand up into your sock. Something to give yourself some structure to what you're working on. And now you're just simply going to weave in and out, catching, say you're working on the sock, you're going to be catching a stitch from the sock and one of these stitches up top. So I'm going to catch that first stitch and one from the sock. And you can pull it through at that point, or you can wait and try to weave in all the way across if you wish. So I'm going to pick up the next one. Pick up the next loop and one from the sock. So those loops that you took off the hooks is the loops that you're working with. And all you're doing is anchoring the top of your woven little piece of fabric here to the project that you're putting it on. And last one, and anchor off to the side. Just like that. I'm going to slide this needle on the inside and turn my work inside out. So then all I'm going to do is weave this tail, which I now have plenty of. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of this tail. Okay, so I'm just weaving back and forth through the knit stitches. Well, actually through the purl stitches on this side. Just like such. And I'll work back and forth through these stitches all the way across to the other side where the new piece of fabric ends. And that last stitch, I just do a knot to kind of secure it, but not so big that I'm going to feel it. And then snip off the excess. And now I need to sew in the starting tail. And you can do this with a smaller needle if you wish, but because this is what comes with the project or the kit, I just go ahead and use it. It's already in my hand. Okay. again, I'm just going to weave back and forth to the other side or until I run out of tail. And you don't have to put a knot in there. Once you weave it in, it'll be fine. So anyway, that is how I will darn a sock using a disc. It's not very fancy. I'm not the greatest, but it will get the job done. And there you have it. So now I have a pair of socks back in action to work on the farm some more. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. It's a little different than your norm, but it is something that I know some people have never seen, heard of, or even done. And you can use this technique on multiple different projects. You can do it to a pair of denim jeans, and they don't even have to have a hole in it. You could just want to add a piece of woven fabric on it just as a statement piece. There's all kinds of reasons you can use these, and as well as sizing. You can get really, really big ones. But yeah, so that's using a disc. The next time I show you how to darn, I will do it on a lid just using a standard needle, you know, standard blunt needle, and a lid off of something and a rubber band. But that's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, or at least was humored by it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up and let me know down in the comment section what you thought. Until next time, everybody, be blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now.